Well, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Remember that show? That's not what we were talking about today, though. We're talking about life and bringing up kids, and is it wrong to spank a child? It is a crazy controversial subject, but a lot of you chimed in on it, had a lot to say about that. So let's get right into it. We've got a lot to get through. Joel, were you spanked as a child?
I was hit with all kinds of stuff, not just a hand or not just a piece of metal, but all kinds of shit, a lamp, a belt, whatever was next to my parents. Yeah.
Were you a bad kid?
Not really.
I was spanked too as a child, but look, we seem to turn out okay, at least I think. We want to invite you.
You were dropped on your head as a child.
Yeah. All right, we want to thank you. We want to invite you, our live viewers, to chime in and join our conversation. That was almost a showstopper. What do you think? Is it wrong to spank a child? Let us know right here live on the show. We also have a bunch of your social media responses to read as well. So, Joel, let me ask you then, do you think it's wrong to spank a child since you were?
Oh, if you're asking seriously, then yeah, you should never do that. But I don't really like kids, and this is a comedy show, so I think you should just beat the shit out of them with whatever you have.
Woo! Look, I have to say, I was spanked as a child. I wasn't a bad kid, but if I did something wrong, yes, I was spanked as a child. Did I turn out bad? I don't think so. I'm able to pay my rent, keep a roof over my head, and pay for the Wi-Fi to do this show. So it depends. Now, I say it's okay to spank a child as long as you're not like beating the hell out of them. We're not advocating child abuse here, right?
I mean, kind of.
Okay, parents are going to love this one. The funny thing is you're asking two guys that aren't parents, but you know what? A lot of you chimed in are parents. Let's get to a bunch of your comments right now because they're pretty good. Is it wrong to spoil a child? Well, guy before says, spare the rod and ruin the child. So he's saying, okay, don't spank him, spoil the kid. Do you think it's right or wrong to spoil a kid then?
Spoil him when he's doing bad? I don't know. No, if he's smoking, you can make him smoke the whole box, but that's, I don't know. There's not really another good option for that.
One would hope that you're not going to have a 6-year-old child smoke a whole box of cigarettes. Hopefully they're not getting him that young.
If he's 6 years old and he's smoking, then yeah, you're going to have to make him do it.
I guess it would be one way to make him stop, put it that way. It's, I mean, how old is too old to spank a child? Like, do you spank a 12-year-old? Look, when I was bad, you know, my grandfather would be like, I'm taking my belt off, and like, oh, okay, you know, I would like tense up. Not that I did it often, but, you know, as a kid, I was scared for that. And one other thing I'm going to point out, when I was in elementary school, up until through 4th grade, teachers were allowed to spank children in school. In fact, the paddles used to be hanging up there on the chalkboard, and there were rules and regulations saying, you know, you'd lose your recess, get detention, and the bottom one was corporal punishment. And if you were a bad kid, you were being a brat, you would get a swat in front of the class and lose your recess. They would also do it for fun on birthdays, but you were humiliated, so kids really didn't want to do that. And only a couple times a year, you know, teachers would spank the kids. But then when I turned to 5th grade, which would have been late 80s, they're like, no, we shouldn't spank kids anymore. Did they spank kids when you went to elementary school in class?
How fucking old are you?
I'm not that much older than you, you know? I'm not.
I think you should be able to retroactively abort your children. If you decide when they're 10 years old it was a bad idea, you should just be able to pull the plug.
Woo, okay, that'll go over well in Washington.
Even if they're perfectly healthy.
Oh, wow.
Just do it.
I mean, there's some parents, though, like, you know, I take the train here at night, and their kids, like, freak out because they can't get a seat, and the parents are like, oh, would you give my kid the seat, you know? I mean, kids do have to learn some life lessons. I understand when they're too small to understand, but as they start to get older, you know, there is a thing called no. And there's, you know, and a lot of parents this day and age don't know how to tell their kids no. Oh, we're all winners and stuff like that. Well, when you grow up in the real world and you do something wrong, you're going to go to jail. So, you know, so there has to be some type of consequences and discipline. You know, when I was wrong, my mom, you know, she smacked me a little bit, but the big thing she would do is like take away the television out of my room. Like I would lose privileges. I couldn't play video games. You know, I'd have to just sit in my room all night. So there are ways to punish kids outside of beating them.
Like, it's the worst when you're in a movie theater, because then you're running up and down the aisle or you're kicking my seat. But I feel like it should be like a Survivor thing. If there's enough people that are annoyed by it, you should be able to vote that little f***er off the island.
Ooh, you know, a lot of people would like to do that. And there was a flight, I think it was from Germany here to Newark like a week ago, where this kid went absolutely nuts, was running up and down the aisle, screaming the entire 8-hour flight. And all kinds of people complained to United Airlines and taking video of the kid like hanging from the bags. Like, I don't know if he was autistic, if there was an issue or something, you know, I'm not saying that to be wrong, but the parent like had no control of this kid. Yet she put him on an 8-hour flight from Germany terminate to here. And people were on the verge of losing it. They were being so like trying to help her, but the kid was just out of control. So that's a tough one. And I mean, but the thing is, I guess you can't go like beat the hell out of your kid in front of a crowd at the movie theater. I've seen parents do that in department stores before. The kids were bad. One day she was just like beating this kid's butt in Target of all places, and everybody's like, "Whoa, you can't do that." So it's a little bit of a touchy situation depending on where you do it, and you probably won't want to do it in front of the church. All right, let's take a couple of your comments right now because you got a lot of them. Mr. Pizarro says, I grew up on Spanks. I can honestly say some kids deserve it, no matter your view. Back in the 80s and 90s, some people I knew needed a spank versus timeout. Helped a lot of troublemakers cool their jets. Now it's different. Take a timeout. Timeout isn't working. What to do? After a while, you know, people do have enough of your bratty kids. It's just a thing.
Yeah, in that case, they should drag the parents behind a car with a rope.
Oh no! You know, some parents.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think. You know, before you take your kid out somewhere, if they're not disciplined or able to handle it, then maybe you shouldn't be taking kids certain places. Sometimes a lot of parents don't think that way. They're like, "Oh, it'll be okay.
Right.
Everybody has to excuse my child." No, you could just have some kind of discipline. So, all right, we're going off topic though, because it's up to you how to discipline your kid. As long it's up to you whether you want to spank them or not. Let's take another comment because Edie says,
it's not society's obligation to discipline your fucking child. You're the one that made the little. You pick up after them. You do all that shit. I have a dog. I'm responsible for all his shit because I choose to have a dog. It's a privilege, not a right. It's not my job to discipline your child just because I paid the same that you did to get into a movie. At all.
Let's take a couple more viewer comments because Edie says, yes, I had this argument with coworkers. They say, I got hit as a kid, and yet a lot of them have criminal records. I wasn't and I don't. Discipline means to teach, not to spank. Too many kids only to learn that violence is an acceptable response has often become abusive. I don't know if it's pushing on the realm of violence. And I mean, like I said, I was hit as a child, not a lot, but I'm not a murderer. You're not a murderer. I mean, I don't think it's pushing violence as long as a kid understands they're being swatted because they're wrong.
I guess that's a case-by-case basis, but statistically she is right.
I think a lot of these, too, are case-by-case basis. That's one of the hard things about it. You know, there is no right or wrong answer. We're just trying to see what parents want to say here. And let's take another one because Yearning for Learning says, as long as it's not abusive, yes, I've grown up with spankings. I spank my daughters. They are both well-adjusted young women with a healthy respect for elders and authority figures. There may be another way. However, this is what I know. So, yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Is there another way? Well, yes and no.
I think you and I both went over some effective measures.
All right, well, we got another one. Michaela says, my dad says Grandma and Grandpa never hit me, but they probably should have. I set the house on fire twice and myself on fire once. Wow. Then I ran into the house and, well, I guess I set the house on fire 3 times. Whew, that comment is lit. She set the house on fire. I'd be PO'd at my kid, too, if you set the damn house on fire. 3 times. You're just shaking your head no. Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, Vamos Yankees has the best comment of the night. We're going to love this one because here it comes. He says, your child should be spanked if they root for the Red Sox. Oh, I love it. We bring baseball in the conversation. And yeah, all right. Maybe bad Red Sox kid, bad. I don't know. Well, hey, I want to thank our live viewers for downloading the Big Web Show today, and make sure you chime in with a few more comments if you got them. There is no right or wrong answer. It is a big topic. But make sure you click that like or subscribe button down below so you can join that conversation. And on Thursday, don't miss my other web show, Kickback Jersey Joe, because this week we're trying a microwave cake. Can you bake a cake in the microwave and it be any good? Yeah, you know what? Well, I put my friends to the taste test. We'll find out, can they decide if they want to buy a microwave cake and what the tastes are and flavors. That's Thursday, Kick It Back with Jersey Joe.
Shut the up, Crispin.
Microwave cake. And Joel, I think you need to spank your dog because he's over there making noise and not behaving.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to in a minute.
Have you ever spanked him before?
No, he's a stupid animal.
You just take his food away, and you'll upset me too if you take my food away. Well, hey, I want to thank our live viewers for joining the show. I want to thank you for dialing up the old webcast today. Jersey Joe here, Ion in the box over there, and Crispin, who's about to be in a lot of trouble, but we'll see you next time.